Most first-time buyers in the GTA don't blow past their budget in one big mistake. They slide past it in tiny steps. They start out by saying we'll stay 100k under our pre-approval limit, but a few weekends of showings and a couple of emotional offer nights later, they're signing at the very top of their limit, and they only realize what that extra 100k really means once the payments start hitting their account. My name is Gaurav, and today we're talking about how first-time homebuyers actually overpay. And it's not because they are reckless or don't care about money. It's because they start with a reasonable budget, but then life, emotions, and the market slowly pull them up to their pre-approval limit without them even realizing how they got there. This video is about patterns I see constantly. Buyers who are absolutely not going above 900,000 end up closing on a home at 1 million and cannot explain why that happened. By the end, you'll understand the exact psychological traps that make this happen and how to stop your budget from slowly creeping up until you hit your absolute max. Let's say the bank pre-approves you for $1 million. You sit down, look at your finances and think, that feels tight. We don't want to be house poor, so let's aim for 850,000, maybe 900 max. That way we have room for life. That's smart thinking. You're leaving a buffer, you're being responsible, and you feel good about the plan. Then you start looking at what 900k actually gets you in the areas you want. And the gap between what you pictured and what the market shows you is brutal. Let's say in your head 900k was maybe going to get you a 3-bedroom detached home with a finished basement, nicely renovated, great school zone, good neighborhood with a decent lot within 30 to 45 minutes of Toronto. Now let's be clear, you're not being unreasonable. 900,000 is a massive amount of money. But the GTA market does not care about what feels fair. There is a brutal disconnect between what that money should buy and what it actually buys. And that means something on your wish list has to go. So you try to accept that. You start viewing homes, trying to stick to your plan. But after a few weekends of seeing small bedrooms, dated kitchens, the discipline starts to crack. Everything at 900,000 feels like settling. Then you're scrolling late at night and see something at 950,000 that clearly looks better. You think, let's just see it. We're not buying it. We just want to know what is out there. You walk in and it's noticeably nicer. Better finishes, better layout, better street. For the first time, it feels like a home instead of just a property that you can technically afford. And on the drive back, you think, that was nice. It's only 50,000 more. That's like $300 a month, right? Maybe we can make it work. Now that is the first moment where you just moved your ceiling without realizing it. You're still saying your max is 900,000, but you're now comparing everything to that 950,000 house. And everything at 900 suddenly feels even worse. Once you've seen what 950 gets you, your brain resets. The 900k properties you would have been excited about 2 weeks ago now feel disappointing. You start saying things like, for 900k, I expected more. Or, we don't want to buy something that we will outgrow in 3 years. Meanwhile, you keep clicking on the listings in the 950k to 1 million range when you're browsing on realtor.ca or House Sigma. You're telling yourself you're just researching, but you're training your brain to expect that level. The 900k range starts to feel like a downgrade. Within a month, your real shopping range is 950k to 1 million. You didn't formally change, but your budget just drifted. And this is where everything accelerates. You see a listing at 899,000. Fully renovated, 3 beds, finished basement, 2 parking, beautiful kitchen, great street, everything you wanted when you started. You book a showing, you walk in, and it looks even better in person. This is it. Your original budget was 900k. This is listed at 899. It feels like the stars have aligned. Then you ask your agent to check nearby comparables. Similar homes on that street have sold for 1.05 million, 1.08, 1.1 million. The listing agent says they're holding offers in 7 days. You know this isn't an 899 house. You know it's going higher. But you're emotionally locked in now. Your brain starts doing something dangerous, justifying why this one is worth going to your pre-approval max, even though 2 months ago you swore you'd never do that. Offer night comes, you and your agent set a plan based on the comparables, targeting 950,000 with a ceiling of 980 below your 1 million pre-approval. You submit your offer at 950k. 3 hours later, your agent calls. Round 1. We're not the highest. Seller wants best and final. Do you want to revise your offer? And now you're thinking, we love this house. Let's go to 980K. That's our ceiling. So you go to 980K. Round 2, we're close. There's one other strong offer. They want one last round. Now, normally you might be skeptical. You might think, are they bluffing? Is there actually another offer, or are they just squeezing me? But if this is your third or fourth offer night, if you've already lost 3 houses this month, then after a while, your brain stops caring if it's a bluff. You are physically and emotionally exhausted. You just want the search to be over. And that is when your brain betrays you. You think we're already at 980K. The bank said we're good for $1 million. What's another 20K? That's like $100 a month. Are we really going to lose our dream home again over $100? So you push. You go to 990K, then you just go for it. $1 million. And you get the call. You've won. That night, you feel amazing. You beat the competition, you pop the champagne, but about a week later, when the adrenaline wears off and the formalities of the next few days are done, you sit down and look at the real numbers. You started this journey saying your absolute max was 900,000. You just closed at 1 million. That is 100,000 higher than where you began, and you used every single dollar the bank was willing to lend you. Here's what that extra 100K actually means. At 4% over 30 years, $100,000 extra equals roughly $477 per month, more in mortgage payments. That's $5,700 per year. Over 5 years, that's over $28,000 in payments alone. You didn't make one big mistake, you made 8 small 10 to 20K more decisions that added up to 100K, which you weren't originally planning to spend. And here's the kicker. You knew the comparables before you went in. Similar homes on that street sold for more than 1 million. Your agent showed you that data. You paid 1 million not because you didn't know better, but because emotion overrode the plan you made when your head was clear. So this isn't about being bad with money. It's about how the process works. The market shows you incrementally better homes as you look higher. 950K is better than 900, 1 million is better than 950. Each step feels reasonable. You're not jumping from 900 to 1 million in one shot. You're taking 5 smaller steps, and each one makes sense in that moment. The emotional attachment overrides logic. Once you love a home, your brain shifts from is this smart to how do we make this work? Every number starts feeling flexible. An offer night collapses your decision making. You're tired, emotional, competing blind, and being asked to make 10-20,000 decisions in very short time frames. That's when your ceiling stops being your ceiling. You don't want to start over. After months of looking and losing offers, your brain will do almost anything to avoid going back to square one. All of these forces push in one direction, up. And the top is your pre-approval max, because that's the only hard ceiling the bank gave you. If you want to stop this, then here's what works. But it takes discipline before you fall in love with homes. First, set your real max based on your life, not the bank's approval. That's your actual ceiling for shopping. Build the full monthly cost at that number. Mortgage, taxes, insurance, utilities, maintenance. Stress test it, and if it still feels okay, then that is your ceiling. Second, ask your agent to pull the comparable analysis before you fall in love. For every home you are serious about, have your agent pull 5 recent sales and show you where they actually closed. Write your maximum number for a property before the offer night. That number doesn't move just because the seller asks for one more round. Buying a home is an exhausting process, which is why I recommend you buy for at least a 5 to 10 year period. On offer night, decide early. If you get into multiple highest and best rounds and you're not winning, you have 2 choices. Go to your preset ceiling limit immediately or just walk away. You shouldn't play the 5,000 to 10,000 more game 10 times. That's how 900K becomes 1 million. And when you lose a property, ask your agent to show you what it actually sold for. If it's sold within the comparable range, you played fairly and someone else overpaid, so stay the course. If it's sold way above the comparable and your ceiling, then you just dodged a bullet. When you're at your pre-approval max and deciding whether to use every dollar the bank will lend you to win, ask yourself, would I rather own this specific home at 1 million or own a 900,000 home and have 100,000 of financial flexibility for the next kid, the next car, the next job change, or the next investment? Because here's what most first-time buyers don't realize. The equity you build in your first home funds your second home. If you stretch to your absolute max now, you're limiting how much money you can save, how quickly you can build equity, and what down payment you will have 5 to 10 years from now when you want to upgrade. Remember, you're not just deciding what you pay today, you're deciding what options you're going to have later. Now, if you're looking to buy your home in the Greater Toronto area and you want help setting a realistic ceiling, pulling proper comparables, and building a plan so your starting budget doesn't quietly become your pre-approval max, then there's a link in the description to book a call with me. It's a 30-minute call just to see if we are the right fit for each other in this real estate journey of yours. If we are, then I'll help create a roadmap for your real estate journey, whether you're thinking of buying or selling now or 1 to 2 years from now. And if you want to learn from real estate home buyers and sellers navigating this market, what they got wrong, what they got right, and what they learned during offer nights, then make sure you subscribe because that is what I talk about on this channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.